and be on the river for opening day this morning.
It's a big problem right now, especially on opening day, and I'm not happy at all.
Completely independent, completely unbiased. I wanted to defend that individual as well. He shouldn't be taking the brunt of some comments that people are making.
Defending the investigation, the Minister of Finance on the review of the bullying allegations as Liberal MHA Colin Holloway hires his own lawyer.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Debbie Cooper.
Our top story tonight, June 1st is an exciting time for more than 20,000 salmon anglers in our province because today is opening day.
But the province failed to get the fishing licenses printed on time, blaming the federal government because DFO was late in announcing new conditions.
Anglers are frustrated and angry, and I met up with some who believe the delay is the province's fault. Well, I'm joined now by three avid anglers who would rather be fishing, and they are not. What do you make of the fact that you're not allowed to fish today?
We're pretty poisoned. Last Christmas, my two nephews and their friend had gotten together and decided that we'd go fishing opening day in Bay St. George. I got one nephew who's out in Alberta, one in Stephenville, and their friend is from Corner Brook. The plan was to meet up in South Branch on Thursday, yesterday, and be on the river for opening day this morning. 2 weeks ago, we had to cancel all those plans. We had to cancel the cabin, so the cabin owner now has lost out on a week's rental. We couldn't rebook because we didn't know when or if the licenses were going to become available. My nephew in Alberta, I mean, he's got an airline ticket. I'm not sure what he did with that, or can he refund it, or...
It's a bit of a mess.
And we can't rebook.
Yeah.
Don't know when.
Will Goodrich, you're a young angler. What do you make of the fact that you can't fish today?
I think it's outrageous. I'm just very angry, mainly just because of the fact that DFO released their decision on May the 7th. And I mean, the provincial government waited until May the 24th to print these licenses, or begin printing, sorry. And I just find it seems as like there's political games being played in the different levels of government, and I don't like it one bit. It's falling back on anglers, and it's not fair at all. And I think clearly it's a big problem right now, especially on opening day, and I'm not happy at all.
How itchy are you to get out there?
I just can't wait. I mean, with all the rain we've been having lately, I mean, I'd be out on the river right now, right? And I can't, obviously.
What the provincial government has done this year is bring in a 10-fish annual limit. Now, we still don't know what the legalities are around that, whether or not they actually have the right to do that. But that is something that is unenforceable, except in outfitters' camps. And if you look at outfitters, they employ guides, they employ cooks, they employ a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people, far more than Grieg Aquaculture, for example, ever will in this province. And they're at risk because if you have somebody who's paying $1,000 a day in a remote camp, and they fly in there and they catch their 3 fish a day, well, 3 days, you got 9 fish, one on your 4th day, and then you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs for 3 days. That's not going to happen. People are going to cancel. And I've heard a lot of cancellations already.
Then there's also some talk, you know, that it might actually encourage people to buy more than one license if they can get away with it, right?
Well, actually, yeah, I saw that as well, and I think that's a big issue, unless there's some cross-referencing occurring, obviously, which needs to happen more frequently, because from what I gather in the past, people have done this before. And I mean, the only way they can not get away with this is if DFO and the provincial government is cross-referencing MCP numbers and obviously driver's license numbers to make sure nobody's double dipping, if you will.
Don, I'll give you the last word on this. If you could talk to Jerry Byrne right now, what would you say to him?
I'd ask him if he's going to put in a forensic audit at the end of the season on the licenses to make sure that people weren't double dipping. It can be done. The federal government inputs all the licenses into a data file, into an Excel spreadsheet, and they do give that to the provincial government, and they can easily do a cross-reference on names, addresses, birth dates, and see if anybody has purchased more than one license. If they have, it's illegal, it's a crime, and they should be caught and punished.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liberal MHA Colin Holloway is calling for an independent investigation into his allegations of bullying by former colleagues. Yesterday, his letter detailing that behavior of Eddie Joyce and Dale Kirby was leaked. Here now's Megan McCabe is following this story and is joining us now live from the newsroom. Megan, what's going on here?
The mistrust and contentious behavior within the governing Liberals that led to these complaints being filed has spilled into the whole investigation process. Colin Holloway says it was unusual for him as parliamentary secretary to be asked at the last minute to fill in for Minister Andrew Parsons at an event. When he got there yesterday, reporters from VOCM and NTV asked him about the leaked letter. He says he was taken off guard by that, believing it would stay confidential. Holloway also says, like the commissioner, the only other people with copies of his complaint are the lawyers for Joyce and Kirby. Because of the leak, he's calling for an independent, so outside the commissioner's office, investigation into the allegations he brought forward, and he's hired his own lawyer. My colleagues had told me that I should only give the commissioner high-level information to identify the issues, but not go into great detail. And in hindsight, I should have listened to them. Kirby told me he can't speak with me at this point, and Joyce said he can't say anything now, but after the investigation process, he'd be happy to share his side. Finance Minister Tom Osborne defended Commissioner Bruce Chalk and the investigation process at a media update this afternoon. Osborne says Chalk has worked in that office for many years under previous administrations.
Completely independent, completely unbiased, not have shown any bias in any way over the many years that he's worked there. And he was endorsed by all members of the House of Assembly as an independent person who've all said that he holds the characteristics and the qualifications to hold that position.
At this point, the other complaints are still confidential, and it's not clear how the leaked complaint will affect the investigation into Holloway's allegations. Today, June 1st, a new harassment-free workplace policy for public servants came into effect, and it will apply to members of the House of Assembly for now until there's a new policy to govern their behavior. Debbie?
Thanks very much. That's our Megan McCabe. Well, a new political poll focusing on the bullying and harassment allegations at the House of Assembly was released today. Abacus Research found that 91% of those polled think the allegations are likely true, though 44% of people think they're exaggerated. And just over half those interviewed believed Premier Dwight Ball has done a good job handling the situation. But a full third think the Premier should step down over the issue. 800 people were interviewed on the web and over the phone. The margin of error is estimated at plus or minus 3.5%, 19 times out of 20.
They say dogs are man's best friend, but this pig is going to give them a run for their money, even though he doesn't really run. Coming up on Here and Now, we'll try to find a home for Jigger. What?
5 cabins and several recreational vehicles have flooded near Deer Lake. Take a look at those pictures. They show cabins, and these are located about 10 kilometers north of Deer Lake, completely submerged. Police say cabins off Route 430 started to flood just a couple of days ago. And there's still a lot of snow in the area, and that there are drainage issues on Bottomless Pond, obviously aptly named. Police advise the public, especially boaters, to stay away from the area in case of sudden drainage. And staff with Water Resources are investigating the cause of this flooding. Just take a look at those, Ryan.
It's heartbreaking for those cabin owners.
It is.
And all that snow. I'm surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised that they did have so much this winter. It's still there.
A ton of snow. We've had a lot of rain, and of course now the warm temperatures as well. 24 degrees in Deer Lake today. So a lot of melting going on right now in a hurry the last few days.
Just imagine with summer coming, you take a look and you see your summer places. That's a shame.
Yeah, for sure. When speaking about highs today, let's have a look. I mentioned 24 in Deer Lake, 23 in Corner Brook. Better in St. John's today, certainly than yesterday. Had some of those sunny breaks in the mix. In fact, a little more than sunny breaks. It was a sun-cloud mix at times this afternoon, which was a nice little break. 4 in Bonavista, Vista, though, and 4 in Twillingate. That northerly flow continued, and you can see where it really hurt temperatures over the eastern half of the island. Western half into Labrador, beautiful, and that's for now. as you folks are perhaps feeling pretty good about yourselves in terms of what you've been seeing compared to eastern Newfoundland. Well, Mother Nature is going to level the playing field a little bit over the weekend. And in fact, the best chance of seeing some snow this weekend will certainly be southeastern Labrador, where we have a snowfall warning in effect for the Trans-Labrador Highway as well as Cartwright, but also northern peninsula, western Newfoundland and into central. Special weather statements are in effect with some early June snowfall looking likely Saturday night into Sunday, and we're going to be talking about that in more detail with your complete weekend forecast in just a few minutes. Anthony?
Thanks, Ryan. The past came rushing back at a trial in St. John's today. Ray Newman's lawyer told the court that his client probably wouldn't be on trial if his name wasn't Ray Newman. Glenn Payette explains.
Ray Newman is on trial for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend, Nicole Young, last September at his house in Paradise. She says he punched, choked, and dragged her. Newman says Young, who was drunk, attacked him while he was sleeping, and the most he did was push her off. It was Newman who called the police, but it took them 11.5 hours to respond to the Priority 2 call, a type of call they are supposed to respond to in 30 minutes. In summing up, Newman's lawyer, Brian Wenzel, said the trial wouldn't be happening if his client wasn't Ray Newman. In 2012, Newman was acquitted of murdering his estranged wife, Chrissy Predon Newman. The case never actually got to trial because a judge ruled the RNC had violated Newman's rights during an interrogation. The lead investigator was Sergeant Dean Roberts. Today, Wenzel said if the police had responded to Newman's call quickly, things would have unfolded differently. He said the police were only too eager to believe Young's story and turn things around on Newman. On the stand today, Newman said when he was brought in to be fingerprinted, Roberts, now Inspector Roberts, mocked him, that he popped in 5 or 6 times in a 10-minute stretch and said things like, "Everything is going good for you now." Newman said it was very unprofessional. Crown Prosecutor Sean Patton said that even if the police were late, it doesn't take away from Young's story about the attack. Also on the stand today, Newman said he's never laid a hand on any woman in his whole life. Judge David Orr will hand down his verdict in the case next Friday. Glenn Payette, CBC News, St. John's.
A surprising development in contract talks today between government and CUPE. Finance Minister Tom Osborne called reporters to Confederation Building with very little notice and blasted the union, especially its national office.
I believe in face-to-face negotiations, and we've got a group of people in Toronto dictating now how local issues are dealt with. People I've never seen the whites of their eyes, I didn't sit across the table from them, dealing with an issue that wasn't even a part of negotiations and stalling a deal now for well over a month. And they're asking for further extensions.
The friction is over post-retirement benefits such as health and life insurance. CUPE is worried that the proposed contract language would mean employees who retire while they're on some type of medical leave might be ineligible for these benefits. They believe that could violate human rights and could leave the union open to legal action.
Once it goes in our collective agreement, Terry, we're faced with a situation that if an employee marches off to human rights and there is a complaint received and accepted, it's not just the government that are going to be named, CUPE is named.
Both sides say it's the only outstanding issue in the way of an agreement.
Well, you can see these blank spaces that are right here. There's people actually, children actually buried right here with absolutely no marker whatsoever. There's no way anyone would even know that there's actually anybody buried in this spot.
And there are many, many more unmarked graves like that at the site of the Commonwealth War Grave Cemetery in Gander. That town's Lions Club is collecting names for all of those graves. It's raised enough money to erect a monument in their honor, and the group hopes the project helps bring some closure for the families of those people who were buried there.
You know, where one time it was a sad thought that, you know, that they lost a loved one. And now, in time has passed, that they can actually tell a story about the individual that they lost or loved and smile and say, you know, this person lived, which is one of the reasons why we really want to make this project happen here.
Well, this next story is about a pet who likes cuddling, doing tricks, munching on treats, and he needs a new home.
Sounds a little like me, but I do have a home. Now, there's just one catch to this story. We're not talking about a dog, but rather a pig. Jigger has been in the care of an animal rescue group for the past year.
But the problem isn't the pig, it's finding the right people. Here now, Zach Gowdy explains.
Taking your pet for a stroll in the park seems perfectly ordinary. But Jigger is no ordinary pet.
Are we allowed to pet him?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Just pet his back.
As soon as he walks in, the playground empties out and the kids go hog wild.
I really like those too.
Yeah?
Yeah, you go pretty nice.
He really likes to eat a lot.
Heather Ballard lets the little hands touch Jigger's rough skin while she answers all the usual pig questions.
He actually doesn't eat as much as you would think he eats. He has 2 cups of pig pellets, a cup in the morning, a cup in the evening, and he has a fruit salad in the morning and a vegetable salad in the evening.
Ballard is the founder of Rescue NL. She's been caring for Jigger for a year, ever since his original owner got a new job and had to give him up. But finding him a new family has been harder than she thought.
We did look for a home for him. We're still looking, actually. We won't let him go unless it's the perfect home. You know, we don't want him to go to a home where he's going to be stuck outside and not get attention. He very much likes to cuddle on the couch. He's kind of like Garfield. He likes to be tucked in the nighttime with a blanket over him. So, you know, we wouldn't want him to go somewhere where he's just outside as a farm animal, because that's not what he's used to. He's a pet.
Jigger's ideal home would have no dogs and no small children. He's good with kids, but at 120 pounds, you don't want him stepping on your toes. But what a new owner really needs is time.
Well, pigs are very smart, so they're excellent pets if they're kept occupied. If you don't have time for a pig, you shouldn't get one, because they're very smart and they need, they need mental stimulation. So if you're just going to keep them in your house, they're probably going to get destructive. So for me, what I do is I have dog puzzles that they do. We're doing some clicker training, so he'll touch, he'll give his hoof.
Good boy.
He may not be the perfect pet for everyone, but he made people in this park as happy as a pig in mud. What does he feel like when you pet him?
He feels like when you put your hands in rocks, he feels like his fur is full of rocks.
Is he fun to play with?
Yes.
Oh, I think they really liked the pig. It was great to see him downtown in a city park, and yeah, really enjoyed watching him eat his Cheerios and his bananas.
Can I have a kiss now? Oh, good boy.
If you have a big heart and a big couch, you can contact Rescue NL on Facebook to see if Jigger is right for you. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
A big heart and a big couch. Somebody out there has that.
I thought a Jigger was an ounce. That thing must be at least 120 pounds. I tremble to think about its litter box.
I'd like to meet him, though.
You could adopt him.
No.
But if you want a nice pet like that, think about it. Going to take a walk in downtown St. John's and see how long it takes before somebody beats me to a pulp. Stay tuned.
I'm Katie Breen, and this is Ainsley. Coming up, we'll step into her photo shoot and the growing business of pet photography.
Hi, Ainsley. Who's a good girl?
A lot of people have a problem with this word. It's the kind of thing that's very divisive. Chris Andrews, well-known musician, knows a lot about Newfoundland culture, and you did some exploring about this.
I did. We were out and around there the week and asked some people some questions, and I think you'll be surprised, or maybe not so surprised, about what we found out.
Say Newfoundlander.
Oh, I am a true Newfie.
Definitely Newfoundlander.
Definitely a Newfie.
Newfoundlanders.
Definitely a Newfie myself.
I am a Newfoundlander.
Newfie.
I guess you'd say a Newfoundlander.
We're here at the Sweet Newfie Kitchen in Mount Pearl. We're here with the owner, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. We're here today to ask you, are you a Newfie or a Newfoundlander?
Oh, I am a true Newfie.
Yeah, and can you tell me why that is?
Well, I've spent 10 years in the military. I've traveled all around the world, and I've come to learn that the word Newfie is not a bad word.
Are you a Newfie? Because if you're a Newfie, you're a good worker, you're best of kind, you got a good personality, and I always refer to myself as a Newfie. Obviously, I'm a Newfoundlander, but I like the term Newfie.
Yeah, I think Newfie is just a just a shortened term that we use out west anyway to describe people from this part of the country. It's not meant to be derogatory at all.
Ross, Newfoundlander or Newfie?
Definitely Newfoundlander. Proud Newfoundlander.
And I think the Newfie people are so great people. I married a Newfie girl.
Ah!
See that?
Well, I think Newfoundlander's the proper term, and I find Newfie a little offensive at times, since I'm partly Newfoundlander myself.
So, Jeremy, yourself, would you consider yourself a Newfie or a Newfoundlander?
If I'm talking about myself and I'm saying where am I from and what I am, I'd say Newfoundlander first. And then, you know what, if someone uses the term Newfie with me, usually it tends to be someone from away who doesn't know any better. I don't hold it against them unless it was, used in the wrong way.
The term Newfie came up a lot. I was out west, so there wasn't a lot of Newfoundlanders on any team I was on. It was always used as a term of endearment with me. I took no offense. I still don't. I think the debate goes on, but it's just what context it's used in.
Actually, and that's one of the things that I love. I used to love telling people that I was from Newfoundland because I found people just naturally gravitated towards you, because people just absolutely love our culture just as much as I do.
I worked away for a few years, and I heard in a derogatory sense the Newfie thing, so now I don't have a problem with it that much, but I always consider myself to be a Newfoundlander, so.
I love being called a Newfie. I really identify it.
Well, Newfoundlander too, but Newfie more so because when you go away, it's nice to tell people that you're a Newfie. Goofy Newfie, people always say, and I'm definitely goofy, so.
I'm here at the bottom of George Street with Steve, playing the lovely guitar. Steve, Newfoundlander or Newfie?
Newfoundlander.
Oh, yeah? Can you tell me why?
Once she hates it, that makes it real, don't it?
For sure. Well, thanks a million, Steve, and keep playing them good tunes, man.
Thanks, boys.
Gorgeous. Stay. A professional pet photo shoot, yes, it is a thing, and they're becoming more and more popular. We'll see the finished pictures coming up. back. Everybody wants to hear the forecast, being a Friday night. I can't believe it. Yeah, I was so interested to hear you say Deer Lake 24.
Yeah, the high today.
It's fantastic for them.
23 in Corner Brook, and into the 20s, 24 in Happy Valley Goose Bay today. Wow. So the highs were nice somewhere. Not so much here in St. John's, where it was 9 degrees once again. Not tapping into that warm air mass because we've had the northerly winds. Now there is a cool down on the way, and from 24 in Happy Valley Goose Bay to a good chance of snow this weekend, and same thing with Corner Brook. And in case you missed it off the top, we do have...
Hey, that 29 there in Halifax, does that explain a certain career move?
Well, listen, all things being honest here on the show, I am going to miss it. People don't believe me when I say, but I am going to miss the crazy weather, and it was driving winds earlier this week, and I said, I'm going to miss this. A part of me is going to miss it for sure. But yeah, hey, 29, not too bad to be going to that to this time of year. But I'm sure once I go, the 29 will be here and I'll be in 9 degrees in Halifax. Area of high pressure over the Halifax and Nova Scotia region right now and over towards western parts of Newfoundland. Help to make a really nice day there. Here's the front that is rolling through Labrador and has the cooler air on the other side of it. A beautiful day, as we said, in Labrador City today, but temperatures will really tumble and continue to tumble through tonight and starting the day on the sub side of 0 tomorrow morning, likely in the -3 to -5 range. Bit of wet snow possibly mixing in as we roll through tomorrow morning from Happy Valley Goose Bay, but more so up towards the coast. Temperatures pretty mild to start the day for western parts of Newfoundland, likely 4 or 5 degrees with those northerly winds in St. John's. And temperatures will continue to kind of hover in that low single-digit range from Happy Valley Goose Bay up towards the coast of Labrador tomorrow. Accumulating snow mainly for the higher elevation areas, but certainly could whiten the grass in places like Happy Valley Goose Bay tomorrow. And by late afternoon, that rain starting to push up towards western parts of Newfoundland. 17 in Corner Brook, 8 in St. John's, with that northerly flow continuing. Cooler right along the coast, a little bit warmer inland. And central Newfoundland from basically Clarenville to Terranova to Gander, down towards the Burin Peninsula, kind of squeezed in between here. And I think we'll see some sunny breaks, a mainly cloudy day, but dry. And those showers not quite making their way from the east and not quite making their way from the west. Grand Falls, Windsor, by the way, that's a late day chance of showers there. Happy Valley Goose Bay, again, some mixing. Best chance of accumulation, as I said, in the southeast. And Labrador City will recover to about 4 on the plus side for tomorrow. Now, through Saturday night into Sunday, this is when we'll start to see that wet snow mixing in. Northern Peninsula, western Newfoundland, even into central by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, and into the evening is when we'll start to see that changeover with some wet snow. Temperatures likely in that 3-4 degree range, 5 in St. John's. Chance of some wet flurries mixing in for Sunday night in the east, including St. John's and the Avalon. And on the other side of this system, we're clearing out through most of Labrador. We'll talk about what next week holds, and I can tell you it does look better than this. Not quite 29 now. That's your forecast. Long-range details are coming up, Debbie.
Oh, we have a week of enduring this left. Thanks, Ryan. Starting on Monday, June 11th, robots will be taking over St. John's, well, at least a third of the city, and only the garbage collection. But it will change how you put out your trash.
So the bins are at the curb, or they can also be at the end of the driveway, and are pointed outwards. So there's arrows on the bins, and they point out towards the street. Wheel backs to the curb. Trucks will then be using the arms to pick up the garbage.
We'll come up to the garbage bins, we'll line the arm up, we'll extend it out, we'll clamp onto the bucket, lift it up inside the hopper, watch the garbage coming out into the hopper with our cameras, gently try to place the garbage back to the curb. Then we move on to our next bin.
Let's make clear that recycling does not go in the bin, it's just garbage that goes in the bin. And recycling is a meter away, as is yard waste, so that there's clear room for the bin to be picked up. The broader reasons for going with automated garbage and choosing a smaller bin is to reduce the litter that's blowing around our neighborhood sometimes when the nets or the gulls have been smart to be able to pick the nets up and tear open the garbage, just to prevent that. Because we get rodent complaints, and this is a part of the rationale on that. One of the big things, I did a ride along with an operator in the fall last year, and these folks get off and on that truck 500 plus times a day. So the automated garbage collection program is put in place to reduce that wear and tear on and potential injury on our employees. And it's also a more efficient service. There are and will be hiccups as we go through phase 1 of the rollout of this process, and we'll figure those out and make any adaptations before we expand to the entire city.
Drink.
Wonder how Darth Vader feels about getting tipped up all the time.
Yeah, the sound effects.
Anyway, it's Friday, everybody. Well, in a growing trend, pet owners are shelling out big cash for portraits of their furry friends.
A new business in Portugal Cove, St. Phillips gives pet parents the full-on studio experience. Here now's Katie Breen stopped by for a session.
Gorgeous. She's a good girl.
This is Ainsley. She's 5, and today she's the star.
She's so pretty. She's so regal looking with her long ears and her, oh, she's beautiful. I love Gordon setters, and she did a really good job.
Yeah, good treats. That'll help.
That a girl.
Sit. Ainsley, sit. Stay. Stay.
Photographer Christy Kirkland started capturing canines a couple of months ago. Before that, she mostly worked with newborns. But with a boom in enthusiastic pet parents, she decided to go to the dogs.
There's so many things you can get for dogs these days that you couldn't get before, with clothes and all that kind of stuff, and dyeing their hair and painting their toenails. It's a big thing.
The finished photos are much more than your average cell phone snap.
They're fine art, so there's a lot of editing involved, a lot of dark shadows, and just focus light right on the dog. A lot of times you have a picture of your dog and it's just the dog sitting on the couch or sitting outside, and there's nothing fancy about it, but if you want to put something on your wall, I like to make art out of it.
Packages start at $200, but the prices aren't keeping people away. Kirkland is getting steady calls.
This is going to be a memory forever. It's priceless to me, just like newborn photos are priceless. Dog pictures are just as priceless because they're not going to here forever. Yeah.
Ainsley's mom feels the same way.
I'm sure we'll make wonderful use of them, just as we have cherished photos in our home of family members and cherished times and holidays. Our pet belongs up there to be mindful of the significance of them in our lives as well.
All it takes is a little patience and a lot of turkey bacon. Katie Breen, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips.
Oh my goodness, she's so pretty. Oh my goodness.
The gorgeous animal.
Beautiful. Probably easier than working with the little tiny ones.
It's true.
Tiny children.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I have a Siamese cat, but I wouldn't want it would just go to the cat's head. So I'm not taking any pictures of you with a professional photographer. No.
Consensus is that we have a system where the demand far outstrips the supply of the various services needed in healthcare.
Just ahead,
highlights from CBC NL's Forum on Healthcare, looking at the problems and looking for solutions.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'd like to offer a big thank you to those who came out to our Critical Condition Health Forum at Memorial University last night. Thanks as well to all of you who watched online and sent in hundreds of comments and questions. Ramona Deering and I hosted a discussion on access to healthcare in our province, and a number of the members of the audience had a vested interest in this topic because they are or once were patients themselves. Here's some of what they had to say.
Cataract issues do seem to become more prevalent with age. And I was interested to see the wait times listed by Eastern Health. They reported that it's between 65 days and I think 113, if I'm correct, wait time from being diagnosed to actual surgery. And I'm wondering if this is giving an accurate picture. I have cataracts and my date is 2020 for surgery.
Before you go through the doors of the health sciences, you see people smoking, eating, and drinking varying degrees of poison. When you go through those same doors, the very first sight is massive lineups at none other than the poison station itself, Tim Hortons. Shameful, shameful. The very foundation that is supposed to promote health, hypocrisy at its worst.
I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed about 3 years ago. One of the things I've learned through this process, and I'm still learning, is to educate yourself. You have to constantly educate yourself. That doesn't mean going on the chat rooms and the internet. It means going to reputable medical libraries, getting information, knowing so that you can ask the proper question and so that you can be in the proper frame of mind to make those kind of decisions. I've been very fortunate in that the doctors that have treated me have recommended that. You've got to educate yourself as a patient.
But from the perspective of psychologists, the extreme importance of early assessment, early diagnosis, and early intervention amongst our kids, whether that's for mental health issues, whether that's for learning issues, developmental issues, we know that if we can get in early, we can prevent those long-term chronic issues from developing. The second part is more on the adult end of things, looking at those primary healthcare teams. We know that in places like Ontario, the embedding psychologists on those teams, partly to deal with mental health issues, but to help deal with the chronic health issues, to help deal with the chronic pain while you're waiting to see the rheumatologist.
I'm disappointed the Minister of Health is not here tonight because my question would be directed at him.
If he were here, what would you ask him?
I would say, first of all, that it's quite obvious over the last number of years that the consensus is that we have a system where the demand far outstrips the supply of the various services needed in healthcare. And I can't understand, nobody has given me an explanation why yet our government can't contract out certain specialist services to other provinces so that people who have time-sensitive ailments where they're deteriorating possibly to the point of no return, even death, could not access those services on an infrequent basis, depending on the availability of specialists here.
As you just heard, Health Minister John Haggie was not at our CBC Health Forum last night, but Haggie did appear as a guest on the St. John's Morning Show today, and as he told host Fred Hutton, wait times aren't actually that bad. The issue, he says, is access to specialists.
Once you've seen the specialist, the wait time to get your surgical treatment in this province is as good and sometimes better than the rest of Canada. We beat out the rest of Canada in cataract wait times. We are as good as anywhere for times for hip replacements, for cancer surgery, these kind of things.
But the difficulty is getting to see the specialist.
The problem is that the vast majority of specialists run private businesses in private offices. We, as the healthcare system, don't have any visibility into that.
Dr. Haggie says that he and his department are working on this issue.
He says government has been studying data from doctors' offices on the West Coast in an effort to improve those times. 20 years ago this July, the Matthews sailed back to Bristol after the big Cabot 500 celebrations. Thanks to Chris and Larry for this video from Bristol where they just saw the replica for themselves.
Chris and Larry have a travel blog called Gaze Around the Bay. Fun fact, the couple says the locals in Bristol rent out the Matthew, and they do that for weddings and private parties.
Time to meet our young athlete of the day. This is 8-year-old Leah Dwyer, who plays basketball with the Ghouls Hoopsters, takes swimming lessons at the Aqua Arena, and plays soccer.
Staying active, Leah also loves skating. Congratulations.
You're today's young athlete of the day.
Maybe we'll get some summer sports coming in soon.
Well, it was cold, but the sun at least came out.
Yeah.
Later today, at least in the city.
Definitely. 5 though right now, so it is a little cool out there if you're heading out for your evening walk. It's still 20 degrees in Corner Brook though, so really it has been, we've been a province divided. Now Labrador City high into the 18, 19 degree range earlier, 6 now, and that is that colder air that is funneling into the province on the other side of that front that's been rolling through the region today, and that is what eventually will have some snow with it. And you can see where that northerly flow on the other side of this area of high pressure has been just directed in over eastern Newfoundland once again today. Front will move across Labrador tonight into Newfoundland slowly but surely through the day tomorrow, and we do have special weather statements in effect for the northwestern parts of Newfoundland with that early June snow looking set. Could even see some accumulation. Definitely will see some accumulation for the Trans-Labrador Highway for tonight into tomorrow and through the day tomorrow primarily. You can see where we will start to see some mixing by morning, but I think it's primarily tomorrow into the afternoon, evening hours, and into Saturday night when we will see that accumulation of possibly more than 15 centimeters. Could hardly spit it out. Early June. Now, Sunday morning, you can see where I think most of the precip will be over the western half of the island with this system. We will see snow mixing in over the northern peninsula, western Newfoundland, possibly into central for Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. Even St. John's may see a few wet flakes mixing in Sunday night into Monday morning. And that system will be just offshore. Winds will really ramp up on Monday. It is looking quite windy along the northeast coast. The good news is a little area of high pressure will come in, and it is looking like we'll see a bit of a quieter, brighter stretch for the middle stages of next week, and temperatures will start to rebound as well. We're going to be back into the double digits, even teens, even flirting with some 20-degree marks across parts of Newfoundland by the time we get to the Thursday, Friday time period by the looks of things right now. So back into some warmer temps, but certainly a cool down through Saturday into Sunday with some of those wet flurries mixing in. And yes, the possibility of some accumulation, especially over the higher elevation areas of west into central. Labrador will for sure see some accumulation over the Labrador Highway stretch with some mixing into the Happy Valley Goose Bay region on Saturday. Looks okay for Sunday into Monday. Keeping an eye on the Tuesday setup, may see some snow wrapping back into the coastal regions, but I think Happy Valley Goose Bay should stay dry. We will keep you posted, of course, over the next few days. That is your forecast to now. Debbie, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. The Trudeau government says it won't stray too far off course when it comes to trade negotiations with Washington. One day after the U.S. said it was ending Canada's exemption from tariffs on steel and aluminum, and Canada struck back with its own slate of tariffs. The charm offensive is back on. Katie Simpson explains.
Ottawa is shifting from offense to defense. The Prime Minister says he is reaching out to workers in Canada's steel and aluminum industries to offer what assurances he can the government will try to protect their jobs. American tariffs on both products are now in effect, a day after Canada announced it would retaliate with similar measures. Canadian tariffs go beyond American steel and aluminum to include products like ketchup, playing cards, bourbon, and sailboats. At a conference in Halifax this morning, Justin Trudeau promised support for Canadian workers.
I want to thank the leaders of those communities and communities across the country for your strength, and I want you to know that just as we fought for you before, we're going to continue to fight for you every day.
The NDP is asking the government to come up with a financial assistance package for the steel and aluminum industry, and it's an idea supported by the Liberal Premier of Ontario. But so far, Trudeau and members of his cabinet are not committing to any bailouts as part of Canada's strategy. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
The once scuttled summit between the leaders of the United States and North Korea planned for Singapore is apparently back on.
Now we're going to deal, and we're going to really start a process. We're meeting with the chairman on June 12th.
8 days ago, Donald Trump called off the June 12th meeting with President Kim Jong-un, citing North Korean anger and hostility. Today, though, a hand-delivered letter to the White House by a senior aide of the North Korean president's seemed to change Trump's mind. Now, Trump admitted he hasn't actually read the letter yet, but he says he agreed to revive the summit after spending an hour talking with the official. Trump says the talks in Singapore will likely be the first of several rounds of discussions on North Korean denuclearization and American sanctions.
Well, picture's worth 1,000 words.
Oh, that's beautiful, but looks rather
Soft.
sad.
Yeah. Angry.
Oh,
even.
yeah, even.
Yeah. I think this pretty much summarizes the feeling across most of eastern Newfoundland this week, and this is where this particular picture was taken, and we'll have another look at it and wrap up the show after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. And here's a very rare sighting for your aw moment of the week. A mama moose with not one, not two, but 3 calves.
You'll see them in just a second. There they are. The new family was spotted by an Alberta woman who was strolling through her neighborhood, and she caught this on her phone.
The young are thought to be less than a week old. According to wildlife experts, it's extremely rare for a moose to give birth to triplets, but Mama Moose is known to have been a twin herself.
And needless to say, her work is not over. Now she's got to keep that young, cute trio out of trouble. Off they go.
Aw, is right.
It is aw. You're cute.
Speaking of awe, we're going to show you some more lovely pictures. Time to see who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries this week. Happy 53rd anniversary to Jack and Pauline Lewis from Grand Falls, Windsor, who will be celebrating tomorrow. Congratulations to Gordon and Yvonne Paul of Gambo, who celebrated their 66th wedding anniversary May 28th. Best wishes to Marg and George Gooby of Conception Bay South, who celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary yesterday. Happy 60th anniversary to Shirley and Ray Hiscock of St. John's. Their special day is tomorrow. Happy 90th birthday to Olive Tizard of Springdale, who celebrated this Wednesday.
And happy 56th wedding anniversary to Jim and Sandra Tulk from St. John's. Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Vince and Clara Myers of Happy Valley Goose Bay. And a happy 90th birthday to Mary Sampson from River of Ponds. Wishing Rita Halloran in St. John's a very happy 98th birthday this week.
A happy 62nd wedding anniversary today to Clyde and Dorothy Best of Chamberlains. Happy 60th anniversary on June 4th to Eugene and Shirley Daw of Long Pond, Conception Bay South. Happy 91st birthday to Bernadette Kenny of Fermuse, now in Witless Bay. It was a 90th birthday this Tuesday for Amelia Snow. She's formerly of Norris Point, now living in Catalina. Best wishes to Naomi Critch in Hants Harbor, Trinity Bay, who turned 90 years old on Wednesday.
And happy 95th birthday to Marjorie Pottle of St. John's. And congratulations to Ralph and Ethelwyn Hudson celebrating their 61st wedding anniversary coming up on the 4th. And a happy 50th anniversary to John and Catherine Carroll from Curling, also celebrating on the 4th. Congratulations. Happy birthday yesterday to Hannah Hanrahan from Marystown, who was 92 years old. And a happy 90th birthday to Ann Penny in Lewisport. Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Harvey and Marjorie Smith of Gooseberry Cove, Trinity Bay.
Birthday greetings to Jenny Price of Grand Bank, who will be celebrating her 95th birthday tomorrow. It's a golden anniversary this Sunday for Baxter and Ivy Goss of Portabasque, now living in Paradise. Happy 69th wedding anniversary today to George and Sylvia Roach of Coley's Point. And happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Frank Hayden of Cape Royal, who will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary tomorrow. And congratulations to everyone. So,
fun looking crew again. Our viewer picture of the day was taken here in St. John's, East White Hills area.
I don't know how many, there are more than one nesting pair.
I believe
on the
so.
Go.
Yes,
So,
you see so many pictures. There's definitely the Cuckold's Cove crew. But I believe there is at least one more. And this was a great shot. Alex took this picture, but I can't help but notice the look on the eagle's face.
This should be like a caption contest, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't you get my good side?
Actually, that's a great idea. I'll put that out on Facebook.
Caption contest?
A little caption contest, and we'll let it run through the weekend and see what people come up with.
I'm sure.
5 degrees, Snoddon? Are you serious?
Maybe some a little more coarse language in there, but yeah, that's the general
Social
idea.
media.
We'll share some of it.
For sure.
Okay. That's it for us. Friday this week went fast, very fast. 1 week left with this guy on the set. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.
See ya.
Bye.